Hey everybody, I'm Rebecca. I'm Will's sister and the business manager of Hidden Gnome, and I'm here to talk about our Kickstarter for these beautiful books. Yay! We finally are here to do Kickstarter 2 for Cradle 4 through 6, and we're so excited to get you these, but there have been a couple of big changes, so we wanted to come on here and kind of answer your big questions. The first major change is that you will find there are no paperbacks or trade hardcovers being offered in this Kickstarter, and that's for a couple of reasons. The first one was way more people backed our first Kickstarter and bought way more books than we were expecting. So that's an incredible problem to have. But when we were getting ready and gearing up to do this second one, we realized we really needed to think about what is sustainable for us to do when we get to the final Cradle Kickstarter, because we do plan to get limited editions of all of these to you guys. And what we realized is if we're doing Cradle 4, which will have all 12 books, that would be 12 limited editions, 12 paperbacks, and 12 hardcovers. And from a logistics perspective, that is just way more than we are capable of fulfilling. So that was one of our reasons for removing the paperbacks and hardcovers. And the other was we started doing Kickstarters in part to be able to get our books eligible for bookstores. And we've been able to do that. So the paperbacks and hardcovers for Cradle 1 through 3 are now eligible in bookstores in multiple countries around the world. Even if they're not on the shelves, you can go and request them and buy the books there without having to pay for shipping. And hopefully we'll one day be in a place where they're on all our shelves. Now, our goal is actually to get all of the Cradle series eligible in those bookstores before we even get through all the Kickstarters for Cradle. So we're actively working on that. We're making great moves. But because of that, we decided for simplicity and for the fact that they'll be available in bookstores, not worry about the paperbacks and hardcovers for this one. Now, I know some of you will be disappointed because that means you won't be able to get signed copies of those books. And that was another change you will notice in this Kickstarter is that we did have to limit the amount that Will signed. And again, there were so many of you in the first one that bought so many books, and Will only has a limited amount of time and hands, and our cloning of him has not been successful so far. So because of that, he can either have a day where he's signing or he can have a day where he's writing. He can't do both. It just takes too much of a physical toll on him. And since our priority is to get on average 2 books a year to you guys, we knew we're going to have to do a limit on the number of signed pages we have. Now, we wanted to make sure we were fair and had an appropriate amount that everyone who had limited editions in the first Kickstarter would be able to buy a set here. So we've been able to do that. But it's a little more limited. So we wanted our priority to be on those limited editions, which is what most of you want and what most of you are coming to the Kickstarter for. So you will be able to buy 1 through 3. If you missed the first Kickstarter, you'll be able to buy those limited editions. They just won't be signed. So you'll be able to get them unsigned. And right now is your only chance to be able to get signed and numbered copies of 4 through 6 in those beautiful faux leather books. The other big change we made was to shipping. So last time, we are in a fortunate position because we are in the United States that shipping to the United States is relatively cheap. The problem came about is we have fans all over the world, and there are dozens of countries where we had one order from that country, and the shipping was kind of astronomical for those fans. There were many countries where the cost of shipping, in addition to customs import fees or duties or VAT tax, was actually more than the cost of the books. And we didn't like that, so we decided to try something new this time around. I got to make a lot of spreadsheets and do a lot of math and kind of put together what it would look like if everyone shared the overall cost of shipping with each other. So because of that, if you are ordering the set of 3 faux leather editions, 4 through 6, in this Kickstarter, everyone, no matter what country you're from, will be paying a little under $30 for shipping. So that's more for our US fans, but honestly, we thought that would just make it less of a burden for every single individual fan in Turkey and Slovakia and Greece who ordered books to not have to pay so much more. So we're really grateful for you guys. Hopefully that won't be too much of a burden for any of you. And if it turns out my math was terribly wrong and we overcharged, we will absolutely correct that in our next Kickstarter. You will also notice some of the books went up a little bit in pricing. That has to do with the books getting longer. So the books getting longer means they're heavier, and it means there's more pages to print. So slight increase there, but nothing major. We're not trying to price gouge you guys here. Then with the add-ons, we already mentioned you'll be able to purchase books 1 through 3 if you miss them. And we are also offering the unsold badge that you could buy in the first Kickstarter. We're offering that again, as well as a set of wooden keychains for the first 6 books of the series from the same company who made the badges. So we're really grateful for them. And we're excited for you guys to have a chance to add something on. We kind of wanted to limit the add-ons as we're still learning and developing and fulfilling Kickstarters. But those were the big changes made. If you have any other questions, you can go to our FAQ page on the Kickstarter, or you can send us an email or leave a comment on any of our many, many social pages. Thanks, everybody. We're so grateful for the support and how overwhelmingly successful the first Kickstarter was. And we're so excited to bring you guys these next few books. I think they're incredible, and I think you're going to love them.